Tonight, we're opening two very chilling, very real case files. These are documented accounts of moments when that thin line between our world and something else was completely torn apart. They're stories about a simple, friendly invitation turning into an absolute trap. Think about it. We trust our friends. We trust the places we go. But what happens when that trust is betrayed? The stories we're about to explore are a terrifying reminder that sometimes the most welcoming smile can be hiding a nightmare. Let's get into it. All right, our first case takes us to Busan, South Korea, back in 2017. It centers on a university student named Ji-yeon, whose new friendship would end up challenging everything she thought she knew about reality. And that friend's name was Sua. Now, on the surface, Sua was that girl. You know the type. Beautiful, seemingly popular, everyone on campus knew who she was. But it was all an illusion. Anyone who actually tried to get close to her hit a wall. The strange reality was, for all her fame, she was completely, utterly alone. Not one friend. That is, until Ji-yoon came along. Something just clicked between them. Ji-yoon saw past whatever walls Sua had put up and found a real connection. And it turned out they had so much in common. Same taste in music, food, they even both lived with their older sisters. In no time at all, they were inseparable. So one day, with final exams coming up, Sua invites Ji-yoon over to her house for the very first time. But the second Ji-yoon steps inside, this wave of unease just washes over her. It's broad daylight outside, but the house is pitch black. Every window is sealed with blackout curtains. The only light? It's from the eerie, flickering flames of candles placed all around the rooms. Sua leads Ji-yeon to her sister's room, and that's when things go from just strange to deeply, deeply unsettling. One entire wall is nothing but shelves, and those shelves are packed with dozens of dolls. Their little glass eyes are all staring forward, giving you that horrifying feeling of being watched by a silent, unblinking crowd. Then Sua points to one doll in particular. It's a large, ball-jointed doll, and it's disturbingly lifelike. With a completely straight face, Sua looks at Ji-yoon and says, "This is our sister. Say hello." Ji-yoon is just speechless. You could tell right away this wasn't a joke. Sua was dead serious. Later, they're studying in the living room, and Ji-yoon can't shake the feeling she's being watched. She turns around and sees that the sister doll is now sitting in a chair right behind her. She tries to ignore it, but a few minutes later, she feels this light, tickling sensation on her neck, like a strand of hair. She whips her head around. The doll is now looking right at her. Its head has moved. Ji-yeon is frozen solid with terror, but Sua, she just looks over and smiles. This calm, almost knowing smile. "My sister seems to really like you," she says, as if this is the most normal thing in the world. She's playing a prank. That casual reaction to something so impossible was somehow even more terrifying than the doll itself. And that was it. That was enough. Ji-yeon makes up an excuse and just bolts from the house, doesn't even look back. But in her panic, she left her laptop. Her final project is on it, and it's due the next day. She has no choice. She has to go back. When she gets there, she finds the front door is just slightly ajar, unlocked, as if it was waiting for her. She finds her laptop in the sister's room, placed on the floor right in front of the doll, and next to it, a stack of photos. Dozens of candid pictures of Ji-yeon. Suddenly, Sua lunges from the shadows. As her hands wrap around Ji-yeon's throat, she screams, "My sister needs to borrow your body." In the struggle, a ceramic urn gets knocked over and shatters, spilling gray ash everywhere. And there, among the broken pieces, Ji-yeon sees a small nameplate, Go Han Sumen. It was a funeral urn. Sua's real sister, she wasn't in the house at all. She had taken her own life 2 years earlier. Consumed by grief, Sua had developed this belief that her sister's spirit could inhabit a new body. And the reason she chose Ji-yoon? Her parents later confirmed it. Ji-yoon was the spitting image of their deceased daughter. For our second case file, we're sticking with the theme of dolls, but this time, it's on a much, much larger scale. Let's fast forward to 2022, in Japan. A young man named Jin-young plans a special trip for his fiancée, Saori, to her childhood village. What was supposed to be a sweet, nostalgic trip turned into a fight for survival. So they arrive on March 3rd, which happens to be the day of Hina Matsuri, the doll festival. Now, this is a beautiful tradition. It's a day when families display these ornate Hina dolls to pray for the health and happiness of their daughters. But, and this is the important part, the dolls are also there to ward off evil spirits. Keep that in mind. But this village, it felt completely wrong. For a major festival, it was dead silent. No celebrations, no one in the streets. The only sound was this weird, eerie, childlike music echoing through the empty alleys. Then they see a missing person poster for a little girl who had vanished 3 months ago. A local quietly tells them she wasn't the first. Other kids had gone missing from that village. The village had no hotels, so a local pointed them to the only lodging around, a traditional inn, a ryokan, on a remote mountainside. It was run by this sweet, elderly couple who welcomed them so warmly. It really felt like a safe, peaceful refuge from the wrongness of the village down below. On their second night, Jin Yong wakes up to use the restroom. As he's walking down the dark hall, he sees a Hina doll sitting outside an empty room. He thinks nothing of it, goes to the bathroom, and comes back out maybe a minute later. The doll's head has turned completely. It's facing him. And as he stares, horrified, its painted face begins to shift, to change, until it becomes the face of the little girl from the missing poster. A cold dread just grips him. He has to get Saori and leave now. He rushes back toward their room, but he sees the door to that empty tatami room is now open. And inside, Saori is standing stock still, like she's in a trance. The room isn't empty anymore. It's filled with dozens of Hina dolls, all arranged on a huge display. And as he watches, every single one of their heads is slowly, mechanically, turning to face her. And then he hears it, a sound. It starts like a faint rustle, and it grows into this dry, collective whisper, seeming to come from the dolls themselves. A chorus of voices, all speaking in Japanese. And what they said was, "There are no more girls to take." In that one single moment, it all slams into place for Jin Young. The missing kids, the silent village, the dolls. They weren't for protection, they were vessels. They had already taken all the other girls from the village, and now they were hungry for another. And right there in front of them stood Saori, a girl born and raised in this very place. She was their next target. He just grabs her and runs. As they burst out of the inn and flee into the dark woods, Jin Young risks one last look back. That kind elderly couple who had welcomed them, they're just standing in the doorway, watching them go. They're not trying to stop them. They just watch. And he can just barely make out their soft-spoken words floating on the night air. What a shame. So, 2 stories, 2 invitations. One was born from a sister's grief-stricken obsession, the other from some ancient, hungry tradition. But both of them show us that sometimes the greatest horrors wear the most welcoming faces, just waiting for you to accept their invitation and step across the threshold. And the fear from these events still hangs in the air. After she attacked June, Sua took her sister's ashes and just disappeared. She was never found. And in that quiet Japanese village, the Hina dolls are displayed every year, waiting. For the things at the heart of these stories, the hunt isn't over. And that leaves us with one final chilling question. Who will be the next to get their invitation?